All right, Donald Trump is becoming very bothered by the conversation that we're about to have. The conversation about his very clear and obvious cognitive decline. And I want to update you on a few new things because Donald Trump just went on an unbelievably insane True Social rant just the other day, just in the last 24 to 48 hours about this, claiming that Americans are practically committing treason by talking about this issue. The guy is losing it. And if you've seen me here before, you know that I talk relentlessly about the fact that the president is showing very obvious signs of cognitive decline. Before we get into all of it, if you haven't seen me here before, my name is Chris Mowrey. I'm filling in for Adam Mockler on the Adam Mockler channel. If you enjoy this type of content, there's a link to my YouTube channel in the description down below. It'd mean a lot if you checked it out, maybe hit subscribe. It goes such a long way. You guys truly, truly, truly are the best on this channel, the Adam Mockler channel. We're trying to build something big, punch back against MAGA media, as I say every time. Republicans have this kind of media ecosystem that's been built over 10, 15 years that is pumping out so much disinformation. So on this channel, we're trying to not only compete against it, but beat it by uplifting Gen Z voices going into the midterm. So if you want to help us grow and join the community, drum roll please, all you have to do is hit subscribe down below. It goes such a long way. All right, let's start here with something from today. The most impressive thing, Howard Lutnick marvels at Trump sleeping just 4 hours a night. This is from today on Fox. Howard Lutnick is talking about this Trump gold card. You pay $1 million to get in the United States, blah, blah. Absolutely absurd, nonsensical garbage. But take a listen to this part.
So Rachel Campos Duffy, whose husband is Sean Duffy, as you know, who is Secretary of Transportation, is able to sit down with the wives of the cabinet members. I don't know if you know this or not. And one of those wives is this woman named Allison Lutnick. She was asked a question about what should people know about her husband. Buckle up. Watch.
I would want people to know that how much Howard cares about this job, that he's working so hard. The pace hasn't changed. In New York, he worked 24/7, and he's still doing that because he's got a boss now after 40 years that works 24/7.
Yeah.
But he really cares about this job and doing right by America, and I'm really proud to watch that. He's also a wonderful husband, and today we're celebrating our 31-year anniversary.
Congratulations. Your thoughts about that?
Thank you. You know, you didn't understand. Before I joined the government, I had no idea how it works, but there's so much you can get done that really all that's in your way is time. So we just give it all we've got. The president sleeps less than me. I sleep 5 hours a night. The president sleeps 4 hours a night, and he's working all the time. He calls me late at night. He wants to talk about the day. He's on it all the time. It is the most impressive thing you've ever seen.
First of all, that's the most impressive thing you've ever seen. Donald Trump's energy is just absurd, especially because we've seen him fall asleep multiple times throughout the past essentially 2 weeks in the middle of meetings. So it's really concerning if he's not sleeping, but sleeping in the middle of the day. The other thing that you have to keep in mind here as we see all these things happening is that, if Donald Trump actually isn't sleeping, or if he's sleeping these, just weird hours where he's like not sleeping during the night or taking naps during the day, obviously sleep is going to affect all sorts of things. And somebody pointed out that not enough sleep raises your risk for, number one, Alzheimer's disease. Donald Trump is obviously almost 80 years old. He's the oldest president ever. Just the other night, last week, he put out over 150 posts on True Social between the hours of essentially like 8 p.m. and midnight. I mean, and he does this all the time where he'll just, that is an unbelievable amount of social media posts. I mean, I am grateful enough to be able to do this essentially social media politics thing for a living. And like, the idea of putting out 15 tweets in a day is like, that's a lot. The president, 150, and he's the president. And these are just like, he's reposting, posting, going on these crazy rants, reposting insane conspiracies. This one talking about exposing Barack Obama, Russiagate hoaxes. Like, he's having a mental episode. It's unbelievable. And so I found this video on Twitter that I think explains it really, really, really well. I want you to take a listen.
Donald Trump is showing signs of dementia.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Why is the media barely reporting on this? And why won't they ask who's really making the decisions in the White House?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Can you imagine if President Biden or any other politician made a claim like this?
Now drug prices are going to be going down 100%, 400%, 600%, 1,000% in some cases.
Prices cannot go down more than 100%. That's not how math works. But Trump's fantastical claims have gotten more and more unhinged.
AOC's low IQ. Have her pass the exams that I take.
This is especially troubling given that he is the oldest president ever to be sworn in and has a family history of Alzheimer's.
Exactly. Now, I will say, just in the last few weeks, and this kind of, on a personal level, gives me some happiness that we have finally started to see some mainstream media reporting on this. CNN, New York Times, the New York Times did a big article on this, and Donald Trump is taking notice of these conversations. And a lot of it, I want to point out, is because of the work you have done, whether it's, talking to friends and family about this, or sharing videos, or maybe you post your own videos, or, I don't know, just staying informed in general and being like, holy shit, Donald Trump fell asleep. Maybe you text your friend, you're like, this is crazy. That means something, because Donald Trump in this media space seems to be able to, attack, but kind of deflect blame from everything that's going on with him. And even people who are supporting Donald Trump, with the economy going, being so bad right now, with inflation rising, the unemployment rate rising, we haven't gotten the Epstein files, with his administration being a mess, this is just another thing where people are like, we're done. We're moving on from this. This is absurd. So take a look at Anderson Cooper from just the other night talking about this.
Keeping him honest tonight, the President of the United States wants you to know a thing or two or three about his health. Now, when we left you last night, he was in the middle of a long campaign rally type speech in eastern Pennsylvania. It was billed as his answer to the affordability crisis, complete with signs saying lower prices and bigger paychecks. It turned into a long monologue covering everything from windmills to transgender athletes to late night comedy shows and sleepy Joe Biden. The last of which might have gotten him thinking, because not long afterwards, he posted a long missive on his social media, quoting the first line, "There has never been a president that has worked as hard as me." Now, he goes on to say, quote, "After all the work I have done with medical exams, cognitive exams, and everything else, I actually believe it's seditious, perhaps even treasonous for the New York Times and others to consistently do fake reports in order to libel and demean the President of the United States. They are true enemies of the people, and we should do something about it." So it's now potentially treasonous, he says, to report on questions surrounding the president's health, stamina, and cognitive abilities, even though there are multiple videos of him appearing to nod off or at least close his eyes for rather long periods of time during some recent public appearances. This is from one cabinet meeting last week, which has led to similar questions, to the kind that were asked when Joe Biden was in the White House or on the debate stage. And now this president, who certainly can appear very vigorous at times and seems to be up often during the night on social media, is chafing when people notice he does not seem to be able to keep his eyes open, even when being loudly praised by a cabinet member sitting right next to him.
Listen, we got a million things to focus on in the world as a country, but he's the only leader in the world that can help end it. And that's why even as we speak to you now, Steve Woodcock is in Moscow trying to find a way to end this war, to save lives of 9,000 people, Mr. President, as you know, are dying every week.
Well, he did a lot of listening with his eyes closed during the last photo op. And again, it is not the only such instance.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad that CNN is doing reporting on this and people are talking about it enough to frustrate Donald Trump. And I mean, it is so mind-numbing, mind-boggling. I don't even know what the word is. To think that the president is saying it's treasonous. I mean, that's a capital offense. Treason is an offense punishable by death. And he's suggesting that, it's treasonous to report on these things. The media is the enemy of the people. This very classic kind of rising authoritarian talk, fascist talk, if you will. We've also seen the bruises on Donald Trump's hands, and the White House keeps being pressed about this just recently. And Caroline Levitt said this.
Thank you. The president's been spotted out and about a number of times with bandages on his hands. Could you please explain what that is about? Secondly, he noted on Truth Social the other day that he had aced 3 cognitive tests. Could you please clarify when those tests took place?
I can do that at a later date. I obviously don't have that in front of me. The president has spoken about that quite extensively throughout the years. As for the bandages on the hand, we've also given you an explanation for that in the past. The president is literally constantly shaking hands. The Oval Office is like Grand Central Terminal. He is meeting with more people than any of you even know about on a daily basis. He's also on a daily aspirin regimen, which is something his physical examinations has said in the past as well, which can contribute to that bruising that you see.
You're telling me that Donald Trump has bruising on his hands with bandages because he shakes so many hands? That's actually the argument we're going with right now? There's no other president who's shaken as many hands as Donald J. Trump. It's effing absurd. That's absurd. I'm sorry. There's no way. And if that is the case, if it is the case that Donald Trump is bruising, I mean, look at this photo. If it is the case he's bruising because he's shaking hands, and the blood thinners are causing that easy bruise, that's also a problem. I just want to be clear. If that's actually the case, which I don't believe it to be, that's a problem. The president's bruising quite easily. Age is showing there, almost 80 years old. Joe Biden shook a lot of hands. Don't remember there being bruises. Okay, interesting. Some people have speculated online. I don't love the conspiracy theories here, but some people say I'm not conspiratorial enough, I should say. But I will point out, and you let me know what you think in the comments down below. I do read all of your comments, that some people are saying he could be taking medication for Alzheimer's disease, which would explain the bruises on his hand because he's getting an IV, and also would require regular MRI monitoring, which we heard that Donald Trump is getting these MRIs, which it was so hard to figure out why the president didn't even know why he got the MRI, which is also, I talk about not being conspiratorial, but the president doesn't know why he's getting MRIs. Fuck, Alzheimer's, excuse my language. That's not ideal for the whole Alzheimer's conversation. Also, when it comes to exercise, when you talk about other factors for Donald Trump, obviously his diet's not great. We asked, does he exercise? President Biden exercised quite regularly, all the time. We were aware of that. President Obama exercised quite regularly. Donald Trump in 2015 said this, quote, "All of my friends who work out all the time, they're going for knee replacements, hip replacements. They're a disaster," he said. He exerts himself fully by standing in front of an audience for an hour, as he just did. Quote, "That's exercise." Not really, right? Definitely not. And I've never seen Donald Trump exercise in my life. Golf is not a particularly rigorous sport, if you will. So, insane. And I also want to show you this, remind you what Donald Trump was saying before the 2024 election. Listen to this.
He has one ability I don't have. Yeah. He sleeps. He can sleep. This guy goes on a beach and he lays down on one of those, 6 ounce, they weigh 6 ounces and you can't lift it. Yeah. They're meant for children, young people, and old people to lift. Yeah. They're aluminum, hollow aluminum. Yeah. They weigh very little and he can't lift. And somebody convinced him he looks good in a bathing suit. And when you're 82, typically bathing suits aren't going to make you look great. You're not going to be enhanced. Yeah. All right? It's just one of those things. I can't be sure about that, but typically you don't.
Depends what he's packing. He could.
I don't know what the hell he's packing, but I don't want to, and I don't want to know either. I don't know, but he has an ability to fall asleep while on camera. He can lie down on one of those things, and in minutes he's stone cold out.
How does he do it?
And he's got cameras because he's the president, so they have cameras on him. Yeah. And then they show him sleeping on the beach. Yeah. You'll never see me sleeping in front of camera.
How do we?
He has one.
You'll never see me sleeping in front of a camera, says Donald J. Trump. And we have seen videos like this, like you saw on CNN. We've seen multiple of them now. We've seen him at this press conference. We've seen him in other countries appearing to nod off. We've seen him at the 9/11 memorial appearing to nod off while part of his face droops downwards. And it's frustrating when you hear, when you look back and see, that was Andrew Schultz. Andrew Schultz just went on a whole rant recently as a podcaster saying, this isn't what I expected. This is awful. This isn't what I voted for. F you, respectfully, right? Part of having a platform is, having some amount of responsibility around it. And so for you to, promote Donald Trump so heavily before the election, sit down and talk to him, Joe Biden falls asleep and we all told you that all this was going to happen, and here we are. So let me know what you think of all this in the comments down below. Once again, my name is Chris Mowrey. I'm filling in for Adam Mockler on the Adam Mockler channel. It'd mean a lot if you checked out my YouTube channel down below. Maybe hit subscribe. It goes such a long way. Make sure you're subscribed here as well. It's almost the weekend. Stay safe. Stay warm out there. I know a lot of the country is very cold right now. I recently moved to Chicago from Atlanta, so it's been kind of, I've probably experienced less than 10 days in my life below 25 degrees. And now I'm in Chicago in the winter, which is different. So trying to stay warm. If you're in my situation, do the same, okay? Wear a coat, wear mittens, wear gloves. That's what I'm doing. I appreciate you guys watching. Do something fun this weekend. I'll see you in the next video.